Okay, in our first lesson for measurement for stretch, we're going to be looking at perimeters of a few different shapes. Okay, so with measurement and with perimeters, we need to make sure that everything is in the same units. So we're making sure that we have either they're in centimeters or meters or whichever one they're asking. So you may have to convert some units, and you would use this flow chart to do so if you needed be. So the first shape is a octagon, and it's asked me to find the perimeter, so which means I need to add up all the sides. So you can see this little line that we have through every side that indicates that they were all the same length to the one that they've mentioned. So if you look at there, it says 98 millimeters. So we have 8 sides, so I'm going to say 8 times 98, which will be what my perimeter is, 784 millimeters. So make sure you put the units in, and there's that one. Okay, so we are going to be looking at also the perimeter of a circle. And we don't say the perimeter of a circle, we use the word circumference. So circumference is given as the word for perimeter of a circle. So when you're finding the length of the outside of a circle, that's called the circumference. So you can think about it, if you had a circle and you cut it, you would end up with a long length. You cut it, you'd have a long length, and we're measuring that length, and that's called the circumference. So we need to know a few little things about a circle. If you measure the distance across the middle, so from in the middle and across from side to side, that is known as the diameter. Okay, if you measure from the center just to the edge of the circle, so from the center to the edge, that is known as the radius. Okay, so we can have a couple of formulas to find the circumference, and they are written here. We can do, the first formula could be 2 times pi times r. Now pi is this symbol here, and it is a button on your calculator. It rounds to around 3.1412 or something, but you just press the button on your calculator, and they should tell you how many decimal places to save it to. So here's one formula. We could use 2 times pi times r, or if you have a look, our diameter is actually made up of 2 radiuses. So if we went back over here to where I wrote, you can see we have, if you have 2 radiuses from the center to the edge, that equals the diameter. So that way we can also write the formula as just pi times d. All right, so let's have a look at these examples. It says, find the circumference of these circles. So you should always write your rule or your formula that you're going to use. Now, because they've given me the diameter, I'm going to use the pi times diameter formula. So it will be pi times 8. So find the pi button on your calculator, and I get that to be 25.13, and I'm going to say centimeters because that's what it was measured in. So we're just going to, I will pop up here in the question that we're going to do it to 2 decimal places. Okay, so if you don't know where the pi button is on your calculator, just ask the teacher and they will show you. Okay, so with this next one, they're asking me to find the circumference, but because I've been given this is the radius, I'll use the radius formula, which is 2 times pi times r. So if I change my r to what it is, which is 4 meters, and then I'll get the circumference. If we write 8 pi, that's okay. So if you don't have your calculator, you just leave it as 8 pi because 2 times 4. And this is what we know as an exact answer. If we pop it into our calculator and we do it to 2 decimal places, it's called a more approximate answer, but that's what the question's asked us to do, so we will do that. We get the circumference equaling 25.13 3 meters this time. So there's our answer. Okay, sometimes we are going to be asked to find the perimeter of a composite shape. So a composite shape is when you have a couple of shapes joined together and it produces a different type of shape here. But if we're finding the perimeter, it means we've got to add up all the outside edges. So I need to find the length of those two, that bit, and that bit. So we know that they've told me where the two lines is, that this is 12 centimeters. So I know that this is 12 centimeters too. Now with this curve part, we might have to look at that a bit differently. If you see, if I had that curve bit and that curve bit, and if I added them together, you can see we get a circle. We end up getting this circle. So, and we want to know the length of those two bits there. So we will probably say, to find this purple, the edge of the curved bits, we want to know the circumference of that circle. Now we know with the circumference we need to use the formulas. So the circumference is either 2 pi r, or we say pi times d. Now they've actually given us the diameter, because if you look here, we're going from one side through the middle of a circle to the other. We actually know that that is 12 centimeters. So for this, for the purple part of our shape, I'm going to find the circumference, or the perimeter of that bit, which is the circumference. So I'm going to say circumference equals pi times 12, because I'm using the pi times d. So we equal 12 pi, or let's do, once again, I might change this to 2 decimal places. Okay, so we'll do our circumference to 2 decimal places. So 12 times pi, and I get 37.70 centimeters. So that is just for the purple bit. So I now know that here to here is 37.70 centimeters. So the total perimeter is going to be, where we add them all up. So the total perimeter is 12 plus 12. So I'm doing one side plus my curve side, which is 37.70. So we end up with 61.70 centimeters is the perimeter of this shape. Okay, so you'll be doing some of your questions. Some of them you might have to break it up into sections like this and work out different perimeters and then add them all together.